Okay,
It's cutting in and out, but we'll figure it out.
we'll try. If it doesn't work, I'll join from a different, maybe I'll call in from a different device.
Okay.
But welcome everyone. Thank you for joining today. I'm very excited to be here today along with my colleague Vivian Lee to talk about digital tools and multilingual learners. I teach at the University of Toronto, courses related to technology, supporting multilingual learners. And Vivian is here with us today. Vivian, if you want to go ahead.
Hi, folks. I'm Viv. I'm also a doctoral student working alongside Dania on the team at OISE. My specialties are predictive policy for provincial and federal governments with a focus on digital citizenship and multilingual global elements of curriculum.
Thank you, Vivian. And we work along with Dr. Emmanuel Lopichon, Dr. Jim Cummins, and lots of talented educators. So a lot of things we'll be sharing also are things that have been developed with them. So we thought we can start with the little Menti. I'm going to put the link in the chat and get your insights on what multilingual technologies do you know, or have you used any multilingual technologies or technology to support multilingual learners? RAS, Lexia, Read and Write, Unite for Literacy, and Binogi. So these are all excellent tools that we can use to support multilingual learners. I will wait a minute to make sure everybody has a chance to participate.
I appreciate the honesty of Google Translate. I think we all need to admit that more often, so well done.
Perfect. So I'll go back to this, and maybe because we only have 30 minutes, we'll proceed and then come back and visit the tools that you have suggested. Today, we're going to be touching and kind of providing you with some tools that we hope will help you as you teach multilingual learners. We're going to talk about ScriptJab and Brook Creator briefly. We'll show you some interesting tool with Scratch of you who teach coding or use Scratch, especially now that coding is part of the new science curriculum and has been part of the new math curriculum. And then we're going to delve deeper to talk about Binogi. Some of you have already included Binogi on the screen. We'll show you what Binogi is, what does the research say. And then finally, we'll introduce some of the activities that support the use of Binogi and teaching, and we'll show you some of the activities that are available. We'll play a game, and we'll show you some tips and tricks on how you can use some of the activities or revise them if you wish, and then we'll take your questions. So Script is a tool that was developed by a couple of researchers at Simon Fraser University. It's definitely helpful for the elementary students. And there is a video over here. I'll put the link in the chat if you are interested in watching it maybe again and kind of to get to learn more about ScriptJab. But I want to show you briefly what's nice about ScriptJab is it has a list of multilingual books that were created by students or teachers in many languages. So there's Spanish, Catalan, there's French, there's German, and so on. These are books that are created by students. It really helps with their literacy, and they can create books simply by, like, there are a couple of lines, they can enter text in, say, English and another language, or French as well. They can do drawing, or they can decide to read the collection of books that's available there. So it's a really interesting website that has many bilingual books, but also allows students to create bilingual books. You can create an account for free and then add your students so they can actually create their own books. And what's nice about ScriptJab, I'll put the links in the chat, but I'll also, oops, it's just taking time for me to load the slides. Maybe I'll just go back to this mode. Apologies. So there is research about multilingual tools and multimodal composition with ScriptJab. For those of you who are interested, I'm going to put both references in the chat if you would like to check them later. I'm going to try to turn my camera off. Maybe that will improve my internet, if that's okay. And we'll see how this goes. I apologize about that. Let's see if, yeah, this is better. Thank you, Viv, for the tip. So ScriptJab is a tool, again, for creating bilingual books. You can read articles about, this tool. What does the research say, and different ideas on how to use it. More recently, I came across a similar tool that can be used for multilingual learners, but other learners, that's called Book Creator. So you may want to also consider looking at this, where actually students can create their own books in different languages, or timelines, etc. So that's another tool that, when I came across it, I was like, this is similar to ScriptJab, and maybe other people, I know, because in some boards, you need tech approval. So I thought it'll be nice to kind of consider different tools for different reasons. So Book Creator allow you to kind of use different fonts, different languages. Students can add images, they can drop in video or music, they can use pen tools, and create different kind of books or journal entries or timelines, etc. Scratch, I think a number of people, maybe if you want to do thumbs up if you've ever used Scratch or heard of Scratch. I don't know how many of you have. It's a coding app that's developed by MIT. What I really love about it is, if you look over here, many people use Scratch, but they don't know about this feature. Over here in Scratch, when you look at the globe, it actually has many languages. So this is really cool if you have multilingual learners who are new into coding, or they're still developing their literacy skills in English. They can actually use it in a language of their choice. So over here, I've switched the language to Arabic. You see here, move 10 steps, turn around, everything becomes in Arabic. But say students created a code and then they want to go back to English, or the teacher want to check their code, you can switch back to say French or English, and then all of a sudden the switch. This is also cool for French immersion or multilingual learners. So let me see, I can find English right here. So, coding is like a block code that's used in different schools. Students even can use coding to create stories. There are tutorials available, which I find. So if you want students, say, to make their name animated, or create a story, or animate a character, there are tutorials available to help students learn about it. But the most, cool tool, I think, is the different languages that are available there to allow students to create, code or create stories, etc. So this is really nice. If you're ScriptJab, I can't find it. Yes, I'll put the link for ScriptJab for sure. So here's the link for ScriptJab for the bilingual books that you can both view and see. Okay, so the other tool that I wanted to share was Scratch, because of the multiple features that it has. I'm gonna go share my slides. Oops. You can create a free educator account. They will verify it. And then if you want to create a class of students, they can do many boards approve this. Some boards will allow students to also create books without having an account. But if you want to view students' work, you allow them to create an account. The next cool tool that is truly multilingual is Binogi. And Binogi is a tool that has different videos where students can choose the language of the spoken language they want to hear, as well as, and Binogi continues. This screenshot was taken a few years ago, and now Binogi has grown to include multiple languages delivered in both math and science. And I'm hoping that my screen will collaborate and you will be able actually to take a look at the features in Binogi and hear the video. I'm going to share sound and then you let me know if you can hear it. So here's binogi.ca. You can sign for an account for free using your Gmail account, but then if you want the cool features like teacher sections, etc., you will need to have an account. I know some boards in Ontario or Wattar Catholic, if you teach there, you will be able to get your access. Other boards are, working on it. There are some boards that has specific schools who do Binogi. So say I go to Binogi and there are books in math and books in science, and I can change the language. So I can choose in which language I would like to hear the video and in which language I would like to read the subtitles. Please give me a thumbs up if you can both see and hear the video, which I've, used it before. So hopefully it will work. Can you actually see full screen the video?
We can,
Okay,
yeah.
perfect. We're gonna hear a few seconds of a video in language and with subtitles in a different language. And I would like to hear your insights, and I would like you to tell me what do you think this video is about.
Arialom. أوف أنا خم خيال كون دلي نفسه كفاوشت أكلاتي زلاج أودا كانت ولا حنتي كدفني هراي ليون الزكاة الكويني سمعن نسخة نقولهم جوادة تتكاخت هانسو ما يتخيلني خا ولو نفسه كف جوادة هتقوطع زروي تخيلني خا كتقوطع زروي تخيلني دا انتهي مالت كايو أزغون عيو كلهم جوادات كنقوطع زرو ما ينخيلنا بزعبا مهنا جوادات كنزاربون كلنا نتوم جوادات عسكرين مالتنا يو جوادات عسكرين يوم كننقساقس زخولنا بغلطوف كم مجاين كبت نجارات كمل على الجميركا كسب كبر عيننا وحسب كنبل زخولنا نصهم يوم أتوم جوادات بجماوتي مس عسكرين قربتن استأساسور يوم أو أكلتنا
because of limited
عسكرين
time, I'm going to stop here, but you're welcome to continue to watch the video on binogi.ca. Thank you, Shauna, for putting your suggestions on what do you think this video is about. Any suggestions? What do you think this video is about? What did you learn from the minute that you watched? Would you like to watch it again in English and see if your comprehension might change or improve? I hope. So I'm gonna let you watch the video again and again. If you can just tell me if the screen is fine and you can watch it. I'll share my screen again. And I'm going to change the language to English and maybe the subtitles to French.
Each one consists of Oh, I want to be as strong as you, Seamus. I'll build every muscle in my entire body. I won't miss a single one. Well, Leon, I don't think that's possible. You can't build up all your muscles. You can't even control every muscle. Huh? What do you mean, can't control? That's right. Not all muscles can be controlled. When we talk about building muscles, we normally mean skeletal muscles. It's skeletal muscles that enable us to move. everything from running fast and lifting heavy things to blinking an eyelid. The muscles are attached to the skeleton and to the skin with tendons. There are more than 600 skeletal muscles in the body. Each one consists of bundles of
So I
thread.
think you got the idea. How did you feel after watching the video in the language you understand? And I hope that my internet connectivity was good enough that you could actually hear the English. This is just an example of how like multilingual technologies such as Binogi make the knowledge more accessible and content more accessible to students. So I'm going to actually go back and tell you a little bit about the research and what does it say to kind of support why we think this is really good for students. So there's a recent publication and a number of others by scholars. This is by Dr. Lepichon and Jim Commons, and they've done a pilot study here in the Greater Toronto area with students, and they found that the use of this multilingual technology helps the learning and supports students' positive attitude to learning, but that additional strategies are needed to improve teachers' ability to implement these tools. As we know as teachers, the tool is really great, but we also need to know how to use it. What an example that is always very deep to my heart is the example of a student who was assessed to be working at a grade 3 level in math, but after using Binogi and accessing math videos and quizzes in Arabic, they were able to understand the math, and they demonstrated understanding of a grade 6 level mathematics, which the teacher really was surprised, happily surprised to see, and realized how important and powerful is this tool, because students who was wrongfully assessed to be at a lower level was actually capable of performing at a grade 6 level. The tool allowed the student to understand the math, to demonstrate the learning, and the teacher to see how students actually understand the math. It also helps students, feel relieved when they're watching videos in their own languages to learn math and science, and there's lots, anxiety is reduced significantly. So I know there's going to be, I think, another ergo session in Binogi. We won't go much into the technicality. I'm sure our colleagues will tell you more about this, but we wanted to think more about, as teachers, as how to implement Binogi. And those of you who may be familiar with the TPAC theoretical framework will know how, successful implementation of technology, first you need to be, familiar with the technological tool like Binogi, but you also be familiar with the content to support learners, as well as with pedagogical knowledge. Like, how do I actually incorporate Binogi in my teaching? And in previous sessions, Binogi, had kind of had some suggestions where this is a great tool if you want to use it in a flipped classroom where students watch the video and then they come to class, seek clarification. Or, if students want to use this together as they're working on an inquiry project, or if teachers want to have actually the video play, especially if you have multilingual learners of a specific language, and then they can watch it and have subtitles in different languages. So these are different ways that teachers really can use Binogi. There is I know we really like to match, curriculum expectations with videos. So there is this helpful tool, books.binogi.ca, that allow you to actually look for specific curriculum, like, for example, math in Ontario or science in Ontario, and see which videos match specific expectations. Because we want to focus more today on the pedagogy and how you can support learners by using this. My colleague, Vivian, in a minute is going to show you some of the tools that we have developed to supplement the use of Binogi and to support teachers with lesson plans and ideas that inspire them to use Binogi in the classroom. And this is a website where actually you can see the contribution of many educators, and there are different projects that you can hear about, and want to acknowledge the support of Dr. Emmanuel Lepichon, Jim Commons, and as well as the efforts of other team members who have been working, contributing in the teacher portal, which I really encourage you to consider logging on to. And maybe we'll put in the chat for those of you who are interested in joining the project to access the resources. We have multiple resources where we have lesson plans, ideas, activities to support students. So say I'm teaching mathematics and I have a unit on financial literacy. We have interactive pages where you see what are relevant curriculum expectations, Binogi related resources, as well as additional resources such as, concept maps where, we have concepts in English and figures and inviting students to write concepts in their languages, as well as we're continuing to add concept lists in different languages. But we also have interactive booklets on our website that my colleague in a minute will show you how we can do. And you see here, we have one in English and Mandarin. So we have additional components to support your teaching of the subjects. Again, if you go to the teaching portal, teaching resources, say you choose science and you want to see something related on, say interactive lesson plan on plants and cells. Again, you will be taken to an interactive page where, there are Binogi related resources, teaching resources, vocabulary in different languages. Over here, we have, a list of vocabulary in English as well as in Arabic with pictures. We have different activities and we have suggestions on teaching, adopting a language-friendly pedagogy, as well as additional activities. So I'm going to invite actually my colleague Vivian to show you some of the more interactive activities. Maybe we can play with some or try some, and then show you behind the scenes how you can use these or revise them if you wish.
Thank you, Dania. I realize we've got about 7 minutes, so I'm going to be quick. I wanted to start with a quick activity. I find that just for some context, I am an instructional designer by trade. I do e-curriculum design during the day, and I'm a cool kid, so I go to do my doctoral work at night. So this is really a nice a culmination of my skills as a math teacher, a science teacher, and in ed tech. So I have a lot of fun making these. I recognize that not everybody enjoys making ed tech tools. So what I did was I put together a video introducing H5P and showing you the different options and walking you through the process of the different kinds of tools you can use. May I share my screen? Ah, wonderful. So, pardon me. Can you see? Yes, you can. Wonderful. Okay. So this is, please ignore the cheesiness, but this is H5P. It's a really competent tool where you can make all sorts of activities, or what we call ILOs in instructional design. So it's interactive learning objects. So this is a eCampus Ontario version, which is accessible for anybody affiliated. If you've got a university or college email, then this is all free. But I do recommend that you try out the paid version. So this is my collection of activities. So we're going to talk, excuse me one moment. We're going to start with some grade 6 geometry to wrap up your evening. So please, everybody, go to go.h5p.com, and the game code is here. So that's 5129010. And when I have some players, I'm going to hit start game. So this is an H5P tool. Looks very similar to Kahoot. I'm sure you recognize the design. And also, so to go ahead to go.h5p.com, and then we'll get started. All right. Sorry, Dania, I can't hear you.
As well as the code.
I'm sorry, Dania.
I just said
Sorry, Dania, it's not working, unfortunately. I'm sorry. I know, there's nothing worse than slow internet. I know. I completely understand.
Oh, she put the link in the chat, I guess.
Ah, wonderful. Thank you.
Thanks, Dania.
All right, we've got 3 players. I'm going to get started. So this is a timed activity. So I get to see the admin version while you play the game. These are grade 6 geometry. So test your knowledge. Look, I can watch it. So this is, if I was a teacher in a classroom, obviously I would have this on the screen so I could have a little bit of a competition element for my students, and they can access this, of course, on a Chrome browser or any browser. So there's no need to download or get any of those pesky IT permissions. The nice thing is, because H5P was designed for students, it has all of the pipe to privacy structure in place, and it has an accessibility that is WCAG 3.0, which for those of you who are not accessibility enthusiasts, it is the highest possible on the internet. And I'm sure for those of you academics that work with students that are multilingual learners, you know that we quite frequently lean on accessibility tools because what often works for folks with sight loss or hearing loss are supports for English language learners or secondary language learners as well. Okay, oh my goodness, we're almost there. Okay, I'm just keeping an eye on the time. We only have 2 minutes. Just let's go, kids. Oh my goodness, there's a lot of you. All right, we need at least one finished. There are only 7 questions. You can do this. Okay, and I can also flip, of course, between the questions. So I can take a look at your completed questions. Well done. And then I've got scores here. So I've got 5 finished students, 6 finished students. Excellent. Okay. So while that ticks down, of course, I've got a timer up here so we can have a game in progress. But while I let people finish playing with that, I'm going to show you the back end of what this design looks like. Oh, pardon me. So you've all done well. You can rest assured that you know what grade 6 geometry is. That's great. So here we go. I'm going to lose all of your student progress, apologies. So we look at the back end of this. So these are questions organized by page, right? I've got a page banner for each one, right? I've got behavioral settings that I can modify. I can make it simpler or more difficult depending on the students. So this is one element and one example of an H5P tool. H5P has many, many, many examples of what you can make. Another great one, and also you can set them up so people can use whatever you make. So you can have a universal setting so that you can have folks take what they would like, which is something I really value. This is another example of a, you have to choose the renewable energy, but it's using Arabic as a hinter, right? So we've got a hover text option as well, which is again an accessibility feature that has been transferred into a multilingual learner feature. So I have to select all of the items for renewable energy, and then I hit submit. I'm sure you've seen these systems before. Oh no, I got it wrong. So I have to show solution, right? So this is another great one. And as you can see, I've set it to a license if I wish. So I can choose if it's open and universal and accessible to all, or if I choose to remain private with it. So I'm going to leave some of these in the chat for you to play with on your own. This is a universal element too. So you can all learn grade 9 geometry on your own time. So thank you for your time today. I recognize it's 4:01. I'm going to leave all of these resources in the chat for you to take away with you today. And thank you very much for your time.
Thanks, Vivian. That looks really great. And I'm sure people will take the pieces in chat and then we'll share them with people after. If they're emailed, I'll put them in with the recording if that's okay. And I'm not sure, Dania, if your internet's working still.
Yeah, I don't know if you can hear me, but at least I can hear you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
No, that's very good. Thank you so much. Is there any questions? I know there was a question in the chat earlier.
I just see somebody concerned about their score.
That's important. Oh, there was a question earlier about the cost of Binogi. And I don't know if this is the place for that, but maybe I think Catherine, if you would be able to, if people were interested, would you be able to share a contact if people were interested in learning more about Binogi directly? If it's appropriate to share contact in the chat for anyone that's interested in learning more about that program.
Dania, do you have your contact information that you wanted to share?
Sure, I'll put in my email address and then I can forward this to people at Binogi.
And thanks, Catherine.
Oh,
Catherine
and Catherine,
works
yeah,
with
Catherine has
Binogi,
placed hers in the chat as well.
so people can connect with Catherine directly if they're interested in Binogi more in more detail. Thank you so much, Dania, and thank you, Vivian, for the demonstration. And it seems there's so many tools out there, and it's always great to hear how they connect to give students opportunities to develop literacy skills and access curriculum learning in their home language. So important for those reminders, and important for to be giving those opportunities to all students in our classrooms, in our communities. So thank you for that very, very brief and very quick overview of all of those tools. I know there's a lot more to them, but it's nice to have the overview, and then people can explore them on their own too, and to share the links.